While modern gardeners reach for chemical solutions at the first sign of trouble, the Amish quietly cultivate thriving gardens using centuries-old wisdom. Their approach isn't just about avoiding pesticides, it's a profound philosophy that views the garden as a living community, where balance, not battle, creates abundance. Their methods offer timeless lessons for today's gardeners seeking sustainability. Welcome back to the video. My name is Buck Whitaker. We talked about this, right? Soil foundation of resilience. Unlike conventional farmers who might spread fresh manure liberally, the Amish understand that timing and preparation are everything. They age manure carefully, allowing harmful pathogens to break down while preserving beneficial nutrients. Cow, horse, and chicken manures are valued differently, each bringing unique benefits to the soil community. The Amish gardener knows exactly which type to apply for specific crops, knowledge passed down through generations of careful observation. The ritual of soil preparation reveals the Amish commitment to doing things right, not quickly. Watch an Amish gardener till soil by hand, and you'll witness a meditation in motion. There's no rumbling, gas-powered tiller disrupting the peace, just the rhythmic movement of the fork or spade turning earth with deliberate care. This gentle approach preserves soil structure and avoids disturbing the complex network of fungal threads that connect plant roots in an invisible web of communication and nutrient exchange. When you till too roughly or too often, you tear apart the soil's living fabric, explains one Amish gardener. The earth needs gentle hands to reveal its full potential. This careful cultivation creates soil that naturally deters pests and diseases in multiple ways. First, plants grown in nutrient-rich soil develop stronger cell walls and natural chemical defenses, making them less appealing targets. Second, diverse soil microbes compete with pathogenic organisms, preventing them from gaining a foothold. Third, healthy soil creates plants with natural immune systems robust enough to fight off most invaders without human intervention. The Amish recognize soil building as a multi-year commitment. They don't expect depleted soil to transform overnight, instead viewing improvement as a gradual journey. Each season brings incremental changes, slightly darker color, more earthworms, greater water retention, signs they celebrate as victories in their patient revolution. These gardeners have also developed an intimate knowledge of what healthy soil looks like, feels like, even smells like. They test soil by squeezing it to assess moisture and texture, observing how quickly organic matter decomposes, faster in healthy soil, and counting earthworms, nature's soil engineers. When an Amish gardener crumbles soil in their palm and inhales its rich, earthy aroma, they're reading a story most of us have forgotten how to interpret. The Amish garden doesn't showcase uniform rows of a single variety, but rather a rich tapestry of diversity, a living quilt of resilience where vulnerability in one plant is balanced by strength in another. This approach creates what scientists now call dynamic stability, the ability of a system to withstand stress through interconnected relationships. I once asked an Amish farmer why he planted several tomato varieties side by side rather than focusing on just the most productive one. His weather-worn face crinkled into a smile. "The same reason you wouldn't want all your children to be exactly alike," he explained. "Each one brings something different to the family table." This wisdom extends to choosing plants that naturally repel insects through their very presence. Aromatic herbs like rosemary and sage release volatile oils that confuse and deter many common garden pests. The Amish integrate these throughout their gardens rather than isolating them in separate herb sections. The strong scent of marigolds repels nematodes that might otherwise damage root crops. Nasturtiums produce compounds that many insects find repellent, creating a natural barrier against invaders. Some varieties are chosen specifically for their textural defenses. Cucumber varieties with tiny spines or hairy leaves make it difficult for soft-bodied pests to move across the plant surface. Certain squash varieties develop tough rinds that resist penetration by squash vine, e.g. borers. Cabbage family plants with a heavier waxy coating on their leaves deter cabbage worms from laying eggs. The Amish gardener also recognizes that some sacrifices are necessary. Certain plants are included knowing they'll attract pests, intentionally drawing insects away from more valuable crops. Rather than viewing this as failure, they see it as part of the garden's balance. The sacrificial plants become an early warning system, alerting the gardener to potential problems before they spread. This deep relationship with plant varieties creates gardens with built-in immune systems. While conventional gardens might collapse under pest pressure without chemical intervention, Amish gardens demonstrate remarkable resilience, bending but rarely breaking when challenged by the inevitable difficulties of each growing season. The seed selection process continues year after year, with each season's survivors contributing to an ever-strengthening genetic library of resilience, a living heritage that connects past, present, and future through the humble miracle of seeds. With this living foundation beneath our feet, we turn to selecting plants that thrive in harmony with nature's design. Selecting resilient plants. While the rest of us pore over glossy seed catalogs filled with the latest hybrids promising uniform perfection, the Amish connect with something far more profound, a living library of plant wisdom passed down through generations. In the depth of winter, as snow blankets their farms in hushed silence, Amish families gather around worn wooden tables, carefully sorting through seeds that tell their family stories. These aren't just seeds, they're time capsules carrying genetic memories of survival through drought, disease, and countless challenges. The Amish approach to selecting these natural defenders reveals a relationship with plants that most modern gardeners have forgotten is possible. My grandmother's Brandywine tomatoes have weathered every blight that swept through this valley. An Amish gardener told me, his weathered hands cradling seeds with the gentleness one might reserve for holding a newborn. While our English neighbors lost entire crops, these plants stood strong, not because we sprayed them with anything, but because they remember how to fight their own battles. The seed-saving rituals themselves reflect a sacred commitment to continuity. Seeds aren't casually collected, but carefully selected from plants that have demonstrated exceptional vigor, productivity, and resistance to local challenges. I watched as an Amish mother taught her daughter to identify the strongest bean plants, marking them with small strips of cloth early in the season to ensure their seeds would carry forward only the most resilient traits. Red Pontiac potatoes thrive in many Amish gardens because their naturally high alkaloid content deters Colorado potato beetles without chemical intervention. Brandywine tomatoes develop thick skins that resist cracking and natural compounds that deter hornworms. These aren't accidents, but the result of generations of careful selection. What makes this approach revolutionary in its simplicity is how these plants adapt to hyper-local conditions over time. The same tomato variety grown for decades in one Amish community develops subtly different traits than its cousin grown 20 miles away, each responding to unique soil microbiomes, weather patterns, and pest pressures. Beyond individual plant resilience, the Amish cultivate gardens where diversity itself becomes a defense strategy. Walking through an Amish garden reveals a tapestry where dozens of varieties grow in harmonious relationship, creating what scientists now call dynamic stability, a system resilient precisely because it contains so many different elements. The same pest rarely attacks everything, explained an Amish farmer as we wandered through his abundant garden. When you plant just one thing, you're inviting disaster. When you plant many things, you're inviting balance. Some plants earn their place in this living tapestry specifically for their protective qualities. Certain bean varieties release compounds through their roots that repel nematodes. Aromatic herbs like rosemary and thyme emit volatile oils that mask the scent of nearby vegetables, confusing insects searching for their preferred hosts. The textural defenses of cucumbers with tiny spines or fuzzy-leaved squash varieties create physical barriers against soft-bodied pests. I observed one elderly Amish gardener running her hands lightly over her plants each morning, a practice she called awakening their defenses. Modern science has since confirmed what she intuitively understood, that gentle touch stress actually triggers plants to produce protective compounds that strengthen their natural immunity. Perhaps most fascinating is how Amish gardeners balance vulnerability and resistance within their plant communities. They intentionally include some varieties knowing they'll attract certain pests, not as failures but as essential parts of the garden's early warning system. These sacrificial plants draw insects away from more valuable crops while alerting the gardener to potential problems before they spread. These carefully chosen plants now need proper spacing to breathe and thrive, creating a garden where pests struggle to establish themselves. Strategic garden management. In the quiet dawn light, as dew still clings to leaf and stem, an Amish gardener moves with deliberate grace between rows of vegetables. Unlike many modern gardeners who crowd plants together hoping for maximum yield, the Amish understand that abundance paradoxically begins with restraint. Their gardens might initially appear sparse to untrained eyes, but this intentional spacing reveals a profound wisdom about plant health that chemical-dependent gardening has forgotten. Plants are like people. An elderly Amish woman told me as she methodically thinned young carrot seedlings, seemingly removing more than she kept. They need room to breathe, to stretch toward the sun, to become fully themselves. Her hands, weathered by decades of garden work, moved with certainty even as I winced at what seemed like ruthless culling. By mid-season, I understood. Where my own crowded garden struggled with powdery mildew and slug damage, her carefully spaced plants stood robust and vibrant. The wisdom was simple yet revolutionary. Proper spacing creates airflow that naturally prevents fungal diseases, makes it harder for pests to travel between plants, and reduces competition for nutrients and light. This strategic approach extends to their early morning watering ritual, a practice that transforms a basic necessity into powerful pest prevention. Arriving in their gardens at first light, Amish families water close to soil level, avoiding the leaves whenever possible. This timing isn't merely traditional, it's tactical genius. Morning watering ensures plants enter the heat of the day with adequate moisture, but leaves have ample time to dry before evening. Wet foliage at night creates the perfect environment for fungal diseases and attracts slugs and snails searching for moisture. By simply shifting this essential task to daybreak, the Amish eliminate conditions that welcome common garden enemies. The rhythm of this practice has another subtle benefit. It puts the gardener in intimate daily contact with every plant, creating opportunities for early intervention. I watched as an Amish farmer paused during his watering, gently turning a cucumber leaf to reveal the first signs of aphids. Rather than reaching for spray, he simply pinched off the affected area and adjusted his plant supports to improve airflow around the vulnerable plant. The best medicine is the shadow of the gardener, he explained, cast regularly upon every corner of the garden. This vigilant presence naturally extends to garden cleanliness, not the sterile tidiness of suburban landscapes, but a thoughtful attentiveness to plant health. Fallen leaves and diseased plant parts don't remain in Amish gardens to become breeding grounds for next season's problems. They're promptly removed and composted far from growing areas, creating a cycle where even challenges become future nourishment when properly transformed. Weeding transcends mere aesthetics in these gardens to become essential pest control. Weeds aren't just competitors for nutrients, they're potential hosts for insects and diseases that later migrate to crops. When an Amish gardener kneels to remove a cluster of lamb squirters or purslane, they're not just tidying up, they're eliminating pest habitats that threaten garden harmony. Perhaps the most profound aspect of Amish garden management reveals itself over years rather than seasons, their masterful implementation of crop rotation. Unlike modern farms where the same crops grow in the same fields year after year, requiring ever-increasing chemical interventions, Amish gardens dance across their landscape in a choreographed sequence designed to break pest cycles and nourish the soil. The land remembers what was planted before, explained one Amish farmer, as he showed me his carefully mapped rotation plan. Plant tomatoes in the same spot twice, and you're inviting trouble. Move them and you confuse the pests while giving the soil new life. This isn't haphazard movement, but thoughtful orchestration. Heavy feeders like corn follow nitrogen-fixing beans that enriched the soil the previous season. Brassicas like cabbage and kale never return to the same bed until 4 years have passed, breaking the life cycle of pests that specialize in these crops. Root vegetables follow leafy greens, taking advantage of different soil layers and nutrient needs. The results of these rotation sequences become evident over time. Soil structure improves as different root systems explore various depths. Pest populations decline when their preferred hosts keep moving targets. The need for intervention diminishes as the garden itself becomes increasingly self-regulating. One Amish garden I visited had maintained the same rotation sequence for over 30 years, resulting in extraordinary soil fertility and pest resistance without a single chemical application. The patience of this approach, investing in future seasons rather than just the current harvest, reveals the true heart of Amish garden wisdom. They garden not just for today's table, but for grandchildren not yet born who will inherit both the land and the knowledge of how to work in harmony with it. With these fundamentals in place, we discover perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Amish gardens, the strategic partnerships between plants. The art of companion planting. When you first walk through an Amish garden, what strikes you isn't just what's growing, but how everything grows together. A living harmony that feels orchestrated by some deeper wisdom. Unlike modern gardens with their regimented rows of single crops, the Amish create botanical communities where plants support each other in an intricate dance of mutual protection and enhancement. This isn't gardening as we know it. It's a relationship with the natural world that transforms growing food into something approaching poetry. Plants were never meant to grow alone. An Amish farmer told me as we walked between beds where vegetables, herbs, and flowers intermingled in what appeared to be beautiful chaos. His weathered hand swept across the landscape. In nature, everything grows together. We've just forgotten how to listen to what plants tell each other. This philosophy of companion planting isn't merely aesthetic, it's a sophisticated pest management strategy born from generations of careful observation. The bright orange and yellow marigolds that border many Amish gardens aren't just for show. Their roots release compounds that repel nematodes, microscopic worms that damage the roots of many vegetables. The strong scent of marigold flowers confuses whiteflies and other pests searching for their preferred host plants. I watched an Amish grandmother plant marigold seedlings alongside her tomatoes with reverent care, explaining these are the garden's faithful guardians. They stand watch so other plants can flourish. Her intuitive understanding of plant relationships has since been validated by science, which has identified specific compounds in marigold roots toxic to certain soil pests. Nearby, vibrant nasturtiums sprawled between squash plants, their circular leaves and bright flowers creating a striking contrast. "These are sacrifices we gladly make," she explained, noticing my admiration. The nasturtiums draw aphids and squash bugs to themselves, keeping them away from our food crops. "Some plants speak to each other in whispers we cannot hear," an Amish elder told me as he carefully planted chives between his carrot rows. The pungent aroma of chives, barely detectable to human senses, works as a powerful deterrent to carrot flies that might otherwise devastate the crop. These same chives, when planted near roses, prevent black spot and repel aphids, a dual purpose that exemplifies the Amish understanding of plants as multidimensional helpers. Throughout these living tapestries, calendulas shine like miniature suns, their bright orange and yellow blooms beckoning to beneficial insects from across the garden. These aren't just beautiful additions, but strategic invitations to garden allies. I stood mesmerized as ladybugs, lacewings, and hoverflies, nature's pest control specialists, visited these flowers, fueling themselves on nectar before patrolling nearby plants for aphids and other pests. The Amish gardener watches these relationships unfold with the patience of someone who understands that true harmony cannot be rushed. "We don't just plant a garden," one farmer explained as we observed the intricate ecosystem he'd fostered. "We create communities where each member contributes to the greater good. The strong protect the vulnerable. The vulnerable provide their own gifts in return." This community-building approach creates gardens with remarkable resilience. When disease or pests strike one plant, they rarely spread throughout the entire garden as they might in monoculture plantings. The diversity and strategic placement create natural barriers and confusion for potential invaders. Perhaps most impressive is how the Amish refine these combinations through generations of observation. They don't follow rigid formulas, but instead cultivate an intimate knowledge of which partnerships thrive in their specific conditions. Morning light in clay soil might call for different companions than afternoon sun on sandy loam. These nuances are captured not in books but in the lived experience of families working with the land across decades. A young Amish boy I met summarized their approach with unexpected eloquence as he helped his grandfather plant onions between cabbage rows. Plants are like people. Some make each other stronger just by being nearby. In this simple wisdom lies the heart of companion planting, relationships that transform individual vulnerability into collective strength. While these plant partnerships work quietly in the background, the Amish arsenal of natural remedies stands ready to address specific challenges. The Amish pest control solutions. Even in the most harmonious garden, challenges inevitably arise. When unwelcome visitors threaten to disturb the balance, the Amish don't reach for synthetic chemicals with skull and crossbones warnings. Instead, they open their arsenal of natural solutions, remedies crafted from elements so familiar you might find them in your own kitchen pantry. These aren't harsh interventions that devastate the garden's community, but gentle corrections that target problems while honoring the garden's interconnected web of life. I remember watching an Amish mother carefully pressing neem seeds in a small wooden press, the golden oil dripping slowly into a glass jar beneath. Her hands moved with the confidence of someone performing a ritual passed through generations. "This comes from the neem tree," she explained, the sunlight catching in the amber liquid. "God's gift for garden protection. This precious oil, derived from seeds of the neem tree, serves as the cornerstone of many Amish pest management strategies. They dilute it carefully, typically 1 tablespoon in a gallon of water with a drop of mild soap to help it cling to leaves. Then apply it during the cooler hours of early morning or evening when beneficial insects are less active. The neem doesn't kill on contact but works more subtly, disrupting feeding and reproduction cycles of pests while leaving most beneficial insects untouched." In another garden, I witnessed an elderly Amish gardener creating his renowned garlic spray, crushing cloves in a wooden mortar. The pungent aroma filled the air as he explained how this potent mixture deters beetles, aphids, and even some fungal diseases. "The strongest medicine often has the strongest smell," he chuckled, adding hot water to extract the natural compounds before straining and diluting the liquid for application. His recipe was simple yet effective. 10 cloves of garlic steeped overnight in water, strained, and mixed with a tablespoon of mild soap. The mixture sprayed on plant surfaces creates an environment inhospitable to many common pests. They simply cannot tolerate the sulfur compounds released by the garlic. For persistent invaders, the Amish arsenal includes solutions with more heat, quite literally. I watched in fascination as an Amish grandmother carefully handled hot peppers, wearing gloves to protect her skin while preparing a spray that would send beetles fleeing from her cucumber vines. "Respect the fire in the pepper," she cautioned. "It burns the pests, but it can burn you too." Her chili pepper spray, made by steeping crushed hot peppers in water overnight, then adding a touch of soap, creates a powerful deterrent that insects avoid on contact. She applied it with careful precision, avoiding flowering plants where pollinators might visit, demonstrating the thoughtful selectivity that characterizes the Amish approach. Perhaps the most humble yet effective solution in their arsenal is simple soap spray. Pure Castile soap diluted in water creates a solution that dissolves the protective outer coating of soft-bodied insects like aphids and mealybugs. I watched an Amish father teaching his son to apply this mixture with meticulous attention, careful to reach the undersides of leaves where pests often hide. "The timing matters as much as the remedy," he explained quietly. "We don't spray at the first sign of trouble, nor do we wait until plants are overwhelmed. We watch, we learn, and we choose the moment when intervention will do the most good with the least harm." This watchfulness extends to their ingenious trapping methods. Shallow dishes of vinegar mixed with sugar draw fruit flies away from ripening berries. Banana peels placed strategically near plants attract and trap slugs overnight. Each solution elegantly simple, each precisely targeted to specific challenges. Diatomaceous earth, A fine powder made from fossilized aquatic organisms becomes a protective barrier around vulnerable plants, its microscopic sharp edges harmless to humans but fatal to insects with exoskeletons that crawl across it. An Amish gardener showed me how he applied it in a narrow band around his cabbage plants after morning dew had dried, but before the day's heat intensified. What strikes me most about the Amish arsenal isn't just its effectiveness, but its profound relationship with timing and observation. These aren't treatments applied by calendar or clock, but responses to the garden's own communications. A yellow leaf here, a chewed stem there, each a signal requiring specific attention at the perfect moment. To complete the circle of garden harmony, we must welcome and support the beneficial insects that serve as nature's own pest control force. Garden protectors, beneficial insects. In the golden light of late afternoon, an Amish garden reveals its secret defenders, an army so silent yet so powerful that most modern gardeners never fully appreciate their tireless work. I watched in wonder as a tiny ladybug no larger than my fingernail systematically hunted across the underside of a kale leaf, devouring aphids with remarkable efficiency. One ladybug can consume over 5,000 aphids in its lifetime, the Amish gardener whispered, his eyes crinkling with appreciation, their tiny miracles with spotted wings. Unlike gardeners who view insects universally as enemies, the Amish recognize these beneficial predators as essential partners in garden harmony. Lacewings, delicate creatures with transparent wings that shimmer like stained glass in sunlight, release larvae that are such voracious hunters they're nicknamed aphid lions, capable of clearing entire colonies of destructive pests while leaving plants untouched. Ground beetles patrol the soil under cover of darkness, their armored bodies moving purposefully through garden debris as they hunt slugs, cutworms, and root-destroying grubs. Their constant movement aerates soil while their hunting keeps pest populations naturally regulated. The Amish garden intentionally welcomes these allies through thoughtful planting. The flowers feed the protectors, an Amish grandmother explained as she showed me the umbel-shaped blooms of dill, fennel, and Queen Anne's lace that attract parasitic wasps so tiny they're barely visible, yet capable of laying eggs inside caterpillars that would otherwise devour crops. Creating habitat becomes as important as growing food. Stone piles offer shelter for ground beetles, perennial plants provide overwintering sites, shallow water sources serve as drinking stations. These elements aren't afterthoughts, but essential infrastructure for a self-regulating garden. Perhaps most profound is the Amish patience in establishing this balance. They understand that beneficial populations build slowly over seasons, not overnight. While chemical gardeners expect immediate results, the Amish gardener watches the gradual strengthening of natural relationships until the garden itself becomes resilient. When we honor the balance, one elder told me, we discover we are not really the gardeners at all. We are simply grateful witnesses to the perfect order that emerges when we step back and allow nature's wisdom to flourish. The quiet tricks, hiding in Amish dirt. Let's start with something shiny. Some Amish folks toss old copper coins into their plant pots. Sounds weird, right? But copper has this quiet superpower. It messes with mold and gross fungi that try to mess with your plant roots. As the copper just hangs out in the dirt, it slowly sends off little ions that act like invisible warriors keeping bad stuff away. Way cheaper than dumping cash on those store-bought plant sprays. Just don't use crusty green pennies. Give them a wash first. But that's just the beginning. Wait till you see what they bury under their cabbage patch. Got eggs? After boiling them, don't throw out the water. Let it cool and use it to water your plants. That leftover water is packed with calcium, which is like spinach for plant cells. It helps them get big, strong, and sassy, especially your tomatoes and peppers. No need for expensive supplements when breakfast leftovers do the job. This water gets right down to business and your plants get to grow with sturdy stems and vibrant leaves. Even those little seedlings perk up when they get a taste of it. This trick doesn't need measuring or mixing. Just pour and smile. Tea lovers, your garden wants a sip too. Use tea leaves, especially from green tea, are garden gold. They slowly feed your soil, adding goodies like nitrogen without much effort. Just pull out any staples from tea bags, plants aren't into fashion and either scatter or bury them near roots. It's like giving your plants a spa day without all the cucumber slices. The tea leaves break down gently, releasing those slow-burn nutrients that root systems adore. Green tea has loads of nitrogen, more than coffee grounds. It's especially helpful for leafy plants that need a little boost in the foliage department. Still sipping on caffeine? Good. Your used coffee grounds are begging for a second life. Instead of tossing them, sprinkle around your plants or mix into compost. They're rich in nitrogen, which leafy greens especially love. Plus, worms are obsessed with coffee grounds, and worms are your underground garden crew. The grounds also help improve soil texture, making it fluffier and easier for roots to breathe. It's not just about nutrients, it's also about the whole vibe underground. Earthworms munch on the coffee, wriggle around, and aerate your garden while they're at it. Now this one's cute and clever. Start seeds in eggshells. Just crack your egg nice and clean, rinse, poke a tiny hole at the bottom, fill with soil, and plant your seed. When it's ready to go in the garden, drop the whole shell in. As it breaks down, your plant gets an extra hit of calcium. Also, tiny eggshell planters, adorable. The shell gives roots a soft launch into the soil world, and as it dissolves, it keeps feeding the young plant. It also protects from early pests. And when it rains, no worries. The shells hold their shape just long enough to help the seedling get strong. Speaking of tiny, save your seeds. Pick the best-looking fruits or veggies from your garden, dry the seeds in a cool, dark spot, and keep them for next time. Label them unless you're into surprises. Paper envelopes work great, and it's a way to keep your best plants coming back without buying new ones every season. This method lets you play favorites. Only save seeds from the biggest, juiciest, tastiest plants. Over time, your garden gets stronger and better, and nothing beats the feeling of planting something you grew yourself. Don't even think about throwing out your kitchen scraps. That banana peel, that apple core, that old lettuce, your garden is starving for them. Mix them with dry leaves and a little dirt in a pile or bin, and wait. Nature does the dirty work and gives you rich, dark compost. Just don't toss in meat or dairy unless you're looking to throw a party for raccoons. Compost is where waste turns into gold. Over a few months, that messy pile turns into fluffy, earthy magic that your plants will love. It holds moisture, feeds the roots, and makes your garden look like it's on steroids. And here's one that might make you laugh. Human hair. It actually works. Scattering some around your garden scares off nosy deer and rabbits. The smell tells them humans are near and they bounce. Bonus? Hair breaks down and feeds your soil too. So your hairbrush is now a garden tool. Each strand holds a bit of nitrogen, and as it breaks down, it feeds the soil slowly over time. It's not fast, but it's steady, and steady works. Let's try something small and weird that really works. 2. Crushed eggshells for calcium. Instead of throwing away eggshells, why not turn them into plant vitamins? Eggshells are packed with calcium, which helps prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes, peppers, and squash. If you've ever seen a sad, mushy-bottomed tomato, that's calcium deficiency at work. The fix is easy. Rinse out your eggshells, let them dry, and then crush them into small pieces. Sprinkle them around your plants, and as they break down, they'll release calcium into the soil. Think of it as slow-release plant food. For an extra boost, blend the shells into a powder. This helps them break down faster so your plants can absorb the calcium sooner. Plus, crushed eggshells double as a natural pest deterrent. Slugs and snails hate crawling over sharp edges. It's like walking barefoot on Lego bricks. 3. Water plants with cooled boiled egg water. Speaking of eggs, here's another way to squeeze every last nutrient out of them. When you boil eggs, don't dump that water down the drain. It's loaded with calcium from the eggshells. Instead, let it cool and use it to water your plants. Think of it like a protein shake for your garden. Okay, maybe not a protein shake, but definitely a calcium boost. Tomatoes, peppers, and roses especially love this trick since they tend to struggle with calcium deficiencies. Just make sure to let the water cool completely before using it. Your plants don't want a hot bath any more than you do after a long day in the sun, and if you're worried about the smell, don't be. Once the water cools, it's completely odorless. 4. Sprinkle baking soda on soil. Baking soda is one of those magical things that fixes everything. Smelly fridge, baking soda. Stubborn stain, baking soda. Pesky fungal infections in the garden, you guessed it. Baking soda. A light sprinkle of baking soda on soil creates an environment where fungal spores struggle to survive. Powdery mildew, that white, dusty stuff that covers your plants like an uninvited party guest, absolutely hates baking soda. For best results, mix a tablespoon of baking soda with a gallon of water and spray it on your plant leaves. This works wonders for cucumbers, roses, and zucchini, which are often targets for fungal issues. Just don't go overboard. Too much baking soda can make your soil too alkaline, which isn't great for most plants. Think of it like salt on your fries. A little enhances the flavor, but dump too much and it's ruined. 5. Enrich soil with coffee grounds. Do you drink coffee every morning? If so, congratulations. You've got a free source of nitrogen for your garden. Coffee grounds are packed with this essential nutrient and plants love it. Instead of throwing them in the trash, sprinkle used coffee grounds around your plants. They act as a natural fertilizer, improving soil structure and helping plants grow lush and green. Plus, worms absolutely love coffee grounds. And more worms mean better soil. It's a win-win. But here's the thing, used coffee grounds are slightly acidic, which is great for acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, and hydrangeas. However, too much can throw off the pH balance of your soil, so moderation is key. And if you're worried about caffeine affecting your plants, don't be. Most of the caffeine is removed during the brewing process, so your tomatoes won't start jittering like they've had one too many espressos. 6. Save and dry seeds. Before grocery stores and garden centers, people had to save their own seeds. The Amish still do it, and honestly, it's a genius move. The idea is simple. Pick the healthiest, most productive plants and save their seeds for next season. This way, you're naturally selecting the best genetics for your garden. For example, if you grew a tomato plant that produced a ridiculous amount of fruit, save some seeds from that plant. Let them dry completely, store them in a paper envelope, and label them so you don't forget what they are. This method isn't just smart, it saves money too. Why buy seeds every year when you can grow them yourself? Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about growing a plant from a seed you saved with your own hands. 7. Scatter hair for pest control. Yes, you heard that right. Human hair keeps animals like rabbits and deer out of your garden. They hate the scent and will steer clear once they sniff it. If you have long hair and brush it often, just collect the loose strands and scatter them around your plants. If you want to go all out, visit a local barber and ask for a bag of clippings. It might sound weird, but your garden will thank you. Hair also adds nitrogen to the soil as it decomposes. Double win. And if your family members start wondering why you're hoarding hair, just tell them it's an Amish gardening secret. 8. Repel insects with marigolds. Marigolds are like security guards for your garden. They repel pests while looking absolutely stunning. Plant them around your vegetable beds to keep aphids, mosquitoes, and nematodes away. Their scent confuses pests, making it harder for them to find your crops. And here's a bonus. Marigolds attract pollinators like bees and butterflies, which means better fruit and vegetable production. 9. Use leftover tea as fertilizer. Instead of tossing used tea leaves, mix them into your soil. Tea contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and tannins that plants love. Green tea in particular has 4 times more nitrogen than coffee grounds, making it a fantastic natural fertilizer. Just make sure to remove any staples from tea bags before burying them. 10. Mix tiny seeds with cornmeal. Tiny seeds are a nightmare to plant evenly. 1 second, you're sprinkling them gently, and the next, they're all clumped together like kids at recess. Mixing small seeds with cornmeal makes them easier to spread evenly. This simple trick can improve germination rates by up to 30%. Ever had your carrots grow in a tangled mess because the seeds were too close together? Well, this hack will make sure that never happens again. 11. Repel ants with vinegar spray. Ants are the ultimate crashers of the garden party. One moment you're admiring your plants, and the next, a tiny parade of them is making its way through your flower bed like they own the place. It's time to show them they're not on the guest list. The Amish, known for their no-nonsense approach to gardening, have long favored vinegar for keeping pests at bay. White vinegar disrupts the ants' scent trails, making it nearly impossible for them to find their way back to their hideout. It's like scrambling the GPS on a road trip. Just mix equal parts vinegar and water in a spray bottle, then spritz it around problem areas. Be careful not to spray directly on plants though, because vinegar is strong enough to damage leaves. If you've got an anthill nearby, pour a little straight vinegar on it and watch them pack up and leave like they just got evicted. 12. Make manure tea for fertilizer. Before you cringe at the words manure tea, hear us out. The Amish have been using this liquid gold for centuries, and if there's one thing they know, it's how to grow healthy plants without store-bought fertilizers. Manure tea is exactly what it sounds like. It's made by soaking aged manure in water, creating a nutrient-rich solution that plants absolutely love. Just think of it as a power smoothie for your soil. To make it, grab a burlap sack or an old pillowcase, fill it with well-aged manure, cow, horse, or chicken manure works best, and dunk it into a 5-gallon bucket of water. Let it steep for about 3 days, stirring occasionally. Once the water turns a rich brown color, it's ready. Just dilute it before pouring it around your plants. If you can get past the name, your plants will thank you with lush, vibrant growth. Just don't mistake it for your morning tea. 13. Grow potatoes in barrels. If you've ever tried growing potatoes the traditional way, you know it involves a lot of digging, backache, and the occasional surprise when you unearth a spud you forgot you planted. There's a better way, and it's as simple as using a barrel. This method, often used in Amish communities where efficiency is key, turns one barrel into a vertical potato factory. Start by placing seed potatoes near the bottom with a layer of soil. As the plants grow, keep adding more soil until you reach the top. When harvest time comes, just tip over the barrel and collect your potatoes. 14. Practice companion planting. Some plants just belong together like peanut butter and jelly. Others, well, they don't. The Amish, with their deep understanding of natural growing methods, have perfected the art of companion planting. For example, planting basil next to tomatoes not only improves their flavor but also keeps pests away. Marigolds planted near vegetables repel insects. While carrots and onions are best friends, onions confuse carrot flies and carrots return the favor by deterring onion pests. 15. Control weeds with vinegar or bleach. Weeds are the freeloaders of the garden. You didn't invite them, you don't want them, and yet they pop up anyway. Vinegar is a quick, natural way to send them packing. Spray it directly onto weeds on a hot day, and within 24 hours they'll start to shrivel up. Bleach works too, but it's stronger and sticks around in the soil longer, so use it sparingly. 16. Rub aloe vera on plant cuts. Ever had a plant break a stem and wondered if there was anything you could do to help it heal? Turns out aloe vera, the same thing you use for sunburn, works wonders on plant injuries too. The Amish rely on natural remedies, and aloe vera is a powerful one. It has antibacterial and antifungal properties that protect cut stems from infections, helping them heal faster. Just cut open an aloe leaf, scoop out the gel, and gently rub it onto the damaged area. This trick works especially well for succulents and fragile plants that tend to snap easily. And hey, if you accidentally get a scratch while gardening, go ahead and use a little on yourself too. It's a 2-for-1 deal. 17. Grow cuttings in a potato. Rooting plant cuttings can sometimes feel like a gamble. Will they grow, or will they just sit there looking sad? One way to improve your odds is by using a potato. Yes, a potato. Amish gardeners have been using this trick for ages because it provides moisture, nutrients, and a stable base for new roots to form. Just poke a small hole in a raw potato, stick your cutting inside, and plant the whole thing in the soil. The potato keeps the cutting hydrated while slowly breaking down, feeding the plant as it grows. It's like nature's little nursery for baby plants. And if someone catches you planting potatoes in weird places, just tell them you're experimenting. That always makes you sound like a genius. 18. Collect rainwater for irrigation. Watering your garden doesn't have to mean running up your water bill. The Amish have been collecting rainwater for centuries, and for good reason. It's free, natural, and contains no chemicals like chlorine or fluoride. All you need is a rain barrel placed under your gutter downspout. A single storm can fill up a barrel in no time, giving you gallons of fresh, untreated water for your plants. This is especially handy during dry spells. Instead of watching your plants wilt while the hose sits idle, you'll have a backup supply ready to go. Once you start collecting rainwater, you'll wonder why you ever paid for what nature provides for free. 19. Label everything clearly. If you've ever planted something and later had no idea what it was, welcome to the club. Mystery plants can be fun, but when you're trying to plant a garden, it's better to know what's what. The solution is simple. Label everything. Use wooden stakes, rocks, or even broken terracotta pieces to write the names of your plants. Permanent markers work fine, but if you want it to last, use weatherproof paint. 20. Sprinkle cinnamon on seedlings. Cinnamon is a powerful antifungal agent that protects young seedlings from damping off disease, a sneaky problem that causes them to suddenly collapse and die. A light sprinkle of cinnamon over the soil creates a barrier that keeps fungi in check. It also repels pests like ants and gnats, which is a nice bonus. 21. Use matchsticks in soil for magnesium. Most people use matchsticks to light candles or campfires, but did you know they can also give your plants a much-needed nutrient boost? Wooden matchsticks contain magnesium and sulfur, two minerals that help plants grow strong and healthy. All you have to do is stick 4 or 5 unused wooden matches into the soil around each plant. As they break down, they release nutrients into the soil, acting like tiny, slow-release fertilizer sticks. This trick works especially well for acid-loving plants like tomatoes, peppers, and roses. It's simple, inexpensive, and doesn't require any fancy gardening skills. 22. Sprinkle wood ash on soil for a potassium boost. If you have a fireplace or fire pit, you might be sitting on a secret stash of plant food. Wood ash is packed with potassium and phosphorus, two essential nutrients that help plants develop strong roots and produce more flowers and fruit. The Amish, who waste nothing, have been using wood ash in their gardens for generations. To try it yourself, sprinkle a light dusting of cooled wood ash around your plants, about 1 cup per square yard. Just be careful not to overdo it. Too much can make the soil too alkaline, which some plants won't appreciate. And make sure you're using plain wood ash, not the kind from charcoal briquettes or treated wood. Your plants want nutrients, not chemicals. 23. Grow what you love. Gardening should be enjoyable, not a chore. If you're growing vegetables you don't even like eating, what's the point? The Amish focus on practicality in everything they do, and their gardens are no different. They grow what their families actually eat. Before you plant anything, ask yourself what you love to cook. If you're all about homemade pasta sauce, tomatoes and basil should be at the top of your list. If salads are your thing, grow lettuce, cucumbers, and carrots. This simple mindset shift makes gardening more rewarding. Instead of dreading the work, you'll be excited for the harvest. And nothing beats the taste of homegrown food you actually want to eat, right? 24. Cover pots with plastic bags for humidity. Have you ever struggled to keep plants alive indoors? One reason could be that the air in your home is too dry, especially in the winter. The Amish, who rely on simple and effective methods, often create mini greenhouses using clear plastic bags. Here's how you can do it. After watering your plant, place a clear plastic bag loosely over the pot, making sure it doesn't touch the leaves. This traps moisture and creates a humid environment, which is perfect for tropical plants or seedlings. Make sure to poke a few holes in the bag for airflow. You don't want to turn your plant into a steam-cooked vegetable. This method keeps plants happy and healthy without the need for fancy gadgets. 25. Place ice cubes on soil for slow watering. Ever poured water on a plant only to watch it drain out faster than you can say, well, that was a waste? Some plants, like orchids and succulents, prefer a slow and steady drink rather than a sudden flood. That's where ice cubes come in. Just place 2 or 3 ice cubes on the soil surface and let them melt naturally. This allows the water to soak in gradually, hydrating the roots without overwhelming them. This trick is especially useful for hanging plants or pots with poor drainage. Instead of water pooling at the bottom, the ice cubes ensure an even, controlled release. 26. Place coffee filters in pots to prevent soil loss. If you've ever watered a potted plant and watched soil escape through the drainage holes like it's making a run for it, you're not alone. Luckily, the solution is as simple as grabbing a coffee filter. Before adding soil to a pot, place a coffee filter over the drainage hole. This keeps the dirt in while still allowing excess water to drain properly. It's like a safety net for your soil. The Amish love simple, practical solutions, and this is definitely one of them. Over time, the filter naturally breaks down, but by then your plant's roots will be established and the soil will stay put. No more muddy messes, just happy, well-watered plants. 27. Use pencil shavings as mulch. Next time you sharpen a pencil, don't toss the shavings. Believe it or not, those tiny wood curls can be put to good use in your garden. Pencil shavings act as a natural mulch, helping retain moisture in the soil while keeping pests like gnats and fungus at bay. Cedar wood pencils work best since cedar naturally repels insects. Just sprinkle a small handful of shavings around the base of your plants and they'll break down over time, adding organic matter to the soil. It's recycling at its finest. Plus, your garden will smell like freshly sharpened pencils, which is oddly satisfying. 28. Use onion skins as fertilizer. Onion skins might seem like useless kitchen waste, but they're actually packed with potassium, calcium, and magnesium, nutrients that help plants grow strong and vibrant. Instead of tossing them in the trash, soak the skins in water for 3 days to create a nutrient-rich tea. Then use the water to feed your plants. You can also bury the skins directly in the soil where they'll slowly break down and enrich the earth. The Amish make use of everything, and this is a perfect example of turning scraps into something useful. Who knew onions could do more than just make you cry? 29. Spray vinegar to keep rabbits away. Rabbits might be adorable, but they can wreak havoc on your garden. If you're tired of them treating your plants like an all-you-can-eat buffet, vinegar can help. Soak a few cotton balls in white vinegar and place them around the edges of your garden. Rabbits hate the smell and will steer clear. You can also spray a diluted vinegar solution around your plants. Just be careful not to get it on the leaves. This trick is chemical-free, easy, and effective. No more half-eaten veggies, just happy, untouched plants. 30. Insulate pots with wool socks. You know how you wear thick socks in the winter to keep your feet warm? Well, your plants could use the same treatment. Wrapping potted plants in wool socks helps insulate them from sudden temperature changes. This is especially helpful for outdoor pots in colder months. The wool traps heat, keeping the roots warmer and protecting them from frost. The Amish, who rely on natural materials, have long used wool as an insulator, and it works just as well in the garden as it does on your feet. Simply slip an old wool sock over the base of the pot or wrap the entire container. Your plants will stay cozy even when the temperature drops. And if your neighbors ask why your plants are wearing socks, just tell them they get cold too. 31. Put plants in the bathroom for extra humidity. If you have ever struggled to keep moisture-loving plants happy, your bathroom might just be the perfect home for them. The constant humidity from showers creates a tropical environment that ferns, orchids, and peace lilies absolutely love. Instead of misting your plants every 5 minutes like an overprotective plant parent, just let them enjoy the natural steam from your daily routine. It is an effortless way to keep plants hydrated without any extra work. If your bathroom has a window, even better. Just make sure they are getting enough light. If not, a grow light can do the trick too. 32. Use stale beer to trap slugs. Slugs might love your garden, but they love beer even more. If these slimy intruders are munching on your plants, a simple dish of stale beer can lure them away. Just bury a small bowl or cup in the soil so the rim is level with the ground, then fill it with old beer. Slugs will crawl in, thinking they have found a free drink, but they won't make it back out. This trick is an old-time favorite, even in Amish communities where chemical pesticides are avoided. 33. Add charcoal to terrariums to keep them fresh. Terrariums are like tiny magical worlds in glass containers, but they can start smelling funky if the environment gets too damp. That is where charcoal comes in. The Amish have long used charcoal to purify water and freshen up indoor spaces. In a terrarium, charcoal absorbs excess moisture, filters out impurities, and keeps everything smelling fresh. It is like a natural air purifier for plants. To use it, just sprinkle a thin layer of activated charcoal at the bottom of your terrarium before adding soil. This will prevent mold and bad odors from developing. Your plants will stay healthier and your terrarium will look and smell as fresh as the day you set it up. 34. Use cotton string for biodegradable plant ties. Plants sometimes need a little support, but plastic ties can be too harsh and don't break down over time. Instead, use cotton string as a biodegradable, plant-friendly alternative. Cotton string is soft, won't cut into delicate stems, and naturally decomposes over time, meaning you won't have to worry about retrieving it later. It is especially great for staking tomatoes, training vines, or securing young trees. The Amish, who avoid wasteful materials, often use natural fibers for gardening. This simple switch keeps your plants supported while staying eco-friendly and hassle-free. Plus, no more plastic eyesores in your beautiful garden. 35. Water plants at night in summer. Summer heat can be brutal, and plants feel it just as much as we do. Watering during the day is almost pointless because most of it evaporates before it even reaches the roots. The best solution is to water in the evening when temperatures are cooler. At night, water has time to seep deep into the soil, giving plants the hydration they need without the sun stealing half of it. Just make sure to water the base of the plants, not the leaves, to prevent mold and mildew. 36. Use newspaper to make biodegradable seed pots. Why buy seed trays when you can make your own using something you already have at home? The Amish are big on repurposing materials, and this hack fits right into that philosophy. Newspaper seed pots are not just free, but they are also biodegradable, which means you can plant them directly in the soil when your seedlings are ready. Just roll sheets of newspaper into small cups, fill them with soil, and plant your seeds. As the plants grow, the newspaper will break down naturally, adding organic matter to the soil. It is a simple way to start seeds without plastic waste. 37. Use cloves to repel pests. Bugs might love your garden, but they hate the smell of cloves. If ants, aphids, or even mosquitoes are bothering your plants, a few dried cloves can send them packing. Simply scatter whole cloves around your garden beds or place them in small mesh bags near problem areas. The strong scent confuses pests and makes your plants less inviting. The Amish, who rely on natural pest deterrents, often use cloves and other strong-smelling spices to protect their crops. Best of all, this method is completely chemical-free and safe for pets and plants. 38. Use terracotta pots for slow watering. Keeping plants hydrated without overwatering can be tricky, but terracotta pots can do the job for you. Small unglazed terracotta pots buried in the soil act as natural slow-drip irrigation systems. Simply bury a pot near your plants, leaving the top exposed. Fill it with water, and the porous material will gradually release moisture into the surrounding soil as needed. This method, often used in Amish gardens, ensures deep, even watering without wasting a single drop. Plus, it means less watering for you, making your garden practically take care of itself. 39. Grow seedlings in eggshells. Eggshells are not just good for compost, they also make perfect biodegradable seed pots. Just crack eggs near the top, rinse out the shells, and poke a small hole in the bottom for drainage. Fill each shell with soil, plant your seeds, and watch them grow. When the seedlings are ready to be transplanted, you can plant the whole thing in the ground. The eggshell will break down over time, releasing calcium into the soil. This trick is great for tomatoes, peppers, and other calcium-loving plants. Plus, it is a fun, zero-waste way to give your seedlings a strong start. 40. Use crushed clam or oyster shells for soil enrichment. If you live near the coast or enjoy seafood, your discarded clam and oyster shells can be a secret weapon for your garden. These shells are packed with calcium, which helps prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers. Crush the shells into small pieces and mix them into the soil or compost. Over time, they break down slowly, releasing minerals that strengthen plant cell walls and improve root growth. The Amish, who often rely on natural soil amendments, use shells in their farming to keep soil healthy. Instead of throwing them away, let your old seafood dinner give back to your garden. 41. Use rice water as a natural fertilizer. Next time you rinse rice before cooking, save the water. That cloudy liquid is full of starch, vitamins, and minerals that plants love. Rice water feeds beneficial bacteria in the soil, boosts plant growth, and provides a gentle nutrient boost. Simply let it cool and use it to water your plants. It is particularly great for houseplants, leafy greens, and flowering plants. Who knew something as simple as rinsing rice could double as plant food? It's a zero-waste hack that turns something you would normally dump down the drain into a secret gardening weapon. 42. Grow mushrooms in used coffee grounds. If you drink coffee every day, you're sitting on a goldmine of mushroom-growing material. Mushrooms love nutrient-rich coffee grounds, making them the perfect growing medium. Pack used coffee grounds into a container, mix in mushroom spores, and keep it in a cool, dark place. In just a few weeks, fresh mushrooms will start sprouting. The Amish are experts at reusing natural materials to cultivate food, and this trick follows that same principle. If you have ever wanted to grow your own mushrooms, this is the easiest way to start. 43. Make a DIY self-watering planter with a water bottle. Ever gone away for a weekend only to return to drooping, thirsty plants? A simple upside-down water bottle can keep them hydrated while you're away. Fill a plastic bottle with water, poke a few tiny holes in the cap, and bury it upside down near your plant's roots. Water will slowly seep out, keeping the soil moist without overwatering. The Amish prefer low-maintenance solutions that work with nature, and this trick does exactly that. No more plant emergencies when you take a short trip. Just set it and forget it. 44. Use burlap sacks to protect plants from frost. A sudden cold snap can wipe out a garden overnight, but a simple burlap sack can save your plants from freezing. Before a frost, gently drape burlap over your plants, securing the edges with stones or stakes. It traps warmth while allowing air circulation, keeping plants safe from frost damage. The Amish, who farm year-round, often use natural fabric coverings to extend growing seasons. Unlike plastic, burlap allows plants to breathe so they stay cozy without suffocating. 45. Use cardboard to stop weeds from growing. Weeds love bare soil, but a simple layer of cardboard can block them before they sprout. Lay flattened cardboard over problem areas, wet it down, and cover it with mulch. It smothers weeds, prevents seeds from germinating, and eventually breaks down into organic matter. No chemicals needed. Plus, it recycles old boxes, making it a win-win for your garden and the environment. 46. Use rope wicks for self-watering plants. If you struggle to keep plants watered while you're away, rope wicks can do the job for you. This trick uses capillary action to slowly transfer water from a reservoir to your plants. Place one end of a cotton rope in a water-filled container and bury the other end in the soil near your plant's roots. The rope will draw moisture up as the plant needs it, keeping the soil evenly moist. 47. Use egg cartons as seed starters. Starting seeds indoors? Forget expensive trays. Egg cartons make perfect biodegradable seed starters. Just fill each cup with soil, plant a seed, and keep them moist. Once the seedlings are strong enough, you can plant the whole carton section directly in the ground. The carton will break down naturally, feeding the soil as the plant grows. The Amish love repurposing everyday materials, and this hack turns something disposable into something useful. Plus, it keeps plastic waste out of the garden. 48. Use milk to prevent powdery mildew. Powdery mildew can turn your plants into a white, dusty mess, but a simple milk spray can stop it before it spreads. Mix 1 part milk with 2 parts water and spray it on affected leaves. The natural enzymes in milk help prevent fungal growth and strengthen plant immunity. This trick has been used for centuries and is a favorite in organic gardening. If your squash or roses keep getting covered in mildew, this cheap and easy fix could save them. 49. Grow sweet potatoes in a water jar. If you have ever wanted to grow your own sweet potatoes, all you need is a potato, a jar, and some water. Stick toothpicks into a sweet potato and suspend it halfway in a jar of water, keeping the bottom submerged. In a few weeks, roots will appear and vines will start growing. Once they are strong, plant them in the soil and watch your sweet potato crop take off. This method has been used for generations and is one of the easiest ways to propagate new plants. Plus, it's fun to watch. 50. Use aluminum foil to reflect sunlight on shade-loving plants. And finally, not all plants thrive in direct sunlight, but sometimes they need a little extra brightness to grow well. A simple trick is placing aluminum foil near plants to bounce sunlight onto them. Cut pieces of foil and position them on the ground around shade-loving plants or on walls near them. It increases light exposure without overheating the plant. The Amish often use natural reflectors to maximize plant growth. If your lettuce or spinach seem weak, a little extra light might be all they need. And that's a wrap on 50 game-changing Amish gardening hacks that will have your plants thriving like never before. From banana peels to coffee filters, who knew simple tricks could make such a huge difference? Now, we want to hear from you. Which hack are you most excited to try? Drop your answer in the comments. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe for more gardening wisdom. Happy planting, and see you in the next one.